What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Opening Edge. I am your host, Ethan Rose, or Roz in some cases. We are joined by my two stooges, and again, co-hosts extraordinaire, taking over for the third straight episode in a row. We got Big Wits, and then, of course, we got down below. I guess I didn't get the memo on wearing matching shirts, but also in red, Big Rube. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, E. How about yourself? I think you got some big news to share. Why don't we bring her in here for a second?
We got a new puppy. Her name is Chicago in honor of where I'm from. She just fell off the bed, so she might be a little dazed and confused, but there she is. Look at her on the screen. She just likes being with Daddy. And she's also going to like being with Daddy if the Celtics are able to win this by 3 and cover the over. By the way, no overs the entire final so far. And no joke, we're going to get into it when we talk about the NBA, but I am 0 for 8 in overs and spread picks for this. So honestly, thank God if you haven't been following me, I've been the perfect fade. I've done this once before. I went 0-11 in conference tournament play, and if you do it statistically, 0-11 is the same odds as winning the lottery.
I thought you were going to make a fantasy football reference there, but I appreciate it.
No, yeah. Me and Strafface, an old roommate, old member of the podcast when we did the opening or the whatever the other shows were called. Both of us mapped it out. We both went 0-11, and we basically should have just gone and bought lotto tickets because it was the same pricing. But Wits, I'll let you take it back over. Big exciting week for the boys, and I'm ready for you to kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I texted you this morning. Is I was hoping you say you like the Mavericks because I did like the Celtics. So I was just trying to get a feel out there. But
I'm sorry. You should see the group text. I have a lot of Boston friends out here. When they heard I was tailing the Celtics for the second straight game, they were irate.
I bet. But yeah, they're up 11-5 right now, about halfway through the first quarter. So we'll see what happens here. But I know we've got a big tournament to talk about. So first, I want to get Rube's thoughts. He had the winner. He had Bryson. He had Rory too. But it was a fun end of the road there at the U.S. Open. Bryson pulls through with maybe one of the better bunker shots that you will ever see at any level. So Rube, what do you think of the tournament? Bryson, 2-time U.S. Open winner. Just give us your thoughts on how it all played out.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, I think obviously getting the win and having the two guys up there made it a lot more enjoyable to watch. So probably creates a little bit of bias for me in terms of the tournament. But I mean, I thought that was as good of a U.S. Open / major that we've had in quite some time, I think, just with all the drama that happened on the back nine with some of the shots that these guys were pulling off. And then also on the flip side, some of these kind of moments that they had, with Rory and Bryson missing some of these putts down the stretch that no one really saw coming. But when it came down to it, I think Bryson really just, he drove the ball great for the first 3 days and didn't really have it with the driver on Sunday, but found a way to get in one ahead of Rory. I think his game around the greens was honestly better than I ever thought that he was, in terms of chipping. And obviously he's always been a great putter, but I didn't know he could really get up and down from anywhere like he did on Sunday. And then on the flip side of it, I think people are going to might remember this tournament less about the winner and more about the guy in second place. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you are, Rory's had some tough calls in the last 10 years, some close losses, but he hasn't really choked one away like this. You throw the term choked around, hopefully loosely, but this one, I don't think there's any other way to describe it. Missing 2 putts inside of 4 feet in the last 2 holes. He had a 2-shot lead with, I think, 6 holes to play.
And Bryson was getting that tournament was too.
I mean, Bryson missed one of those putts, but Rory, he had a 2-shot lead with 6 holes to play. I thought it was over at that point, and lo and behold, I think he came in 3 over in the last 6 holes and missed that putt on 18. And this is going to be one that stings for a while for him. But overall, I think it was an awesome tournament. Great to see Bryson get a win. I've always been a fan of his. Some people, obviously, he's a polarizing guy, but I think he means well, and he's super exciting and super good for golf. So I'm happy that he came out on top.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem that polarizing anymore. It seems like people really pull for him.
The crowd's loving it. him paying attention to the crowd in a different light has been nice and a change of pace, and I think is garnering a lot of positive attention.
Yeah, he's really done a 180. I mean, he used to be a guy that he was this nerdy guy, but I don't think people really liked him or really bought into what he was doing. But over the last couple of years, he's really turned a corner, and the way he had the crowds into it yesterday was pretty amazing. I've never really seen anything like that with a guy engaging with the fans that much. You know, some people argue it's genuine or not, but regardless, I think that's the type of thing that golf needs. You got a lot of these boring guys out there, like Scotty Scheffler. He's an incredible talent, but doesn't really engage with anyone. He's kind of boring out there, and Bryson really brought the drama in the theater yesterday, and I think that added to what was already a fantastic golf tournament with the shots being hit, but just that added element really took it over the top, I think.
Yeah, and Bryson seems like a guy at first who was, I want to say, more misunderstood, just wasn't very good at communicating kind of all the good things that we've seen over the past few years with the YouTube channel. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts, and we'll do our first little segment here. Fact or fiction, Bryson is the best player for the game of golf as we sit here right now. Right now, I'm taking into account, the YouTube, everything about him. And my one thought is that maybe his move to live, right, not seeing him every week, I think it's kind of created more of an allure that when we get to see him and he does perform on these big stages and he has a very unique perspective on the game, I think in terms of growing the game, for me, I think he is the best player in the game of golf right now to help grow the game, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it as well.
I'm going to go fact because you kind of alluded to it already. Scotty just isn't like this marketable person, and which is funny enough because I think if you market Christ and Jesus the right way, most marketable. Look at Tim Tebow, look at the churches we have in this country. But Scotty's just kind of kept to himself, not even getting arrested, like flipped his MO. Like he's still quiet. Rory was the face, but you actually heard it. It was pretty interesting. You heard it on 18, the fans chanting USA, USA after he missed it, which was kind of like hey, we need somebody here in the States to hold down marketing. Rory, it's been 14, 15 years since he's won a major, really isn't the fan favorite anymore. I know he probably has a big following just like Tiger Woods still does, but Bryson engaging with the fans was polarizing. You kind of like the hero arc when you come back around. You need more of it. A guy that I thought that had the opportunity and kind of had the gusto to do it was Brooks Koepka, but then he just turned into a straight douchebag and it wasn't going to be him. He really shut that off pretty quickly. I mean, whatever you saw in Pardon My Take with him was fun and all that, but the rest of the way he treats the media has really been kind of a disaster. So Bryson, fact. I think fact is Bryson is the guy we're going to be rooting for to go up against Scotty. Quiet Scotty. You kind of want Bryson and Scotty paired together to see what happens when Bryson's riling up the crowd and Scotty's got to kind of just take it and see if he can use that energy as well. It's almost like he needs a completely silent course for him to. I mean, he doesn't need anything. He's the best golfer in the world right now, but I don't know. He's not what's good for golf. And who said it? I don't know who the broadcasters were yesterday, but somebody said bring him back to the PGA when referring to Bryson, and it's like, yeah, let's bring these fuckers back. We need them in the competitions.
Yeah. I think let's not get carried away here. I think this is a two-part answer. I'll answer your question first, Tanner. I think Bryson is number 2 on my list. I think Rory is still the guy that moves the needle the most. I think if we look back 10 years from now, people are going to remember Rory coming in second more than I think that Bryson won this tournament. And I think if Rory were to have pulled this off, it would have been a bigger story than Bryson winning it. Not saying Bryson's not a needle mover, but I do still think outside of Tiger Woods, which he's a needle mover for a different reason. He's probably on his way out, but I think Rory still is that guy. No, I don't want to get on the Scotty slander train here. Just because he's not the most interesting guy. You're trying to say
I was not slandering him.
He's not playing well. He had one bad tournament. He's still by far the best player.
Okay, not even remotely what I was aiming for. I was saying that he's not marketable, and if you can't argue that with me. He's the best golfer. I did say
you're starting to get into that he wasn't playing well this week. He had one bad week. He's still by far the best player in the world. Not the most marketable. I agree.
That's fine. That's all I said.
Just because and Scotty didn't even play that bad this week. He just couldn't make a putt. That's the Scotty that we had earlier this year that couldn't really win. He didn't have his driver early in the week. It's going to happen. wouldn't be shocked if he won this week. But to answer Xander's question, I think Rory still is that guy. And I think he's going to be, until he starts playing bad, I think it's Rory McIlroy is that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely an interesting question. And you started to see, you know, from 9 through 13, Rory had the 4 birdies, and you started to see, like, this is the guy who has been the number one of the best golfers in the world for the past 15 years, without a doubt. And, you know, he missed the couple, you know, 2 and 3 footers at the end there. But I thought it was going to be a huge story either way. You're right, Rube. And Roz brought up an interesting point about the media. So that gets to my second fact or fiction here, which I think became more of the story almost than Bryson winning. Fact or fiction, Rory should have stayed for the press conference. What do you guys think?
I know what you wanted. I know what they wanted. They wanted Rory to stay. Everyone wants Rory to stay. He might not need to be that guy anymore. He does. What does he have to explain? So I fiction, we didn't need to be there. Jesus Christ.
I think you have an obligation as a pro golfer to stay. I'm not that mad that he left, but I think, you know, guys in the media get paid to do their job, and part of their job is they need the guys to get up there and say something. Now we're not going to probably hear from Rory until for 3 weeks because he pulled out of the Travelers this week. So I think, you know, as a professional athlete, you have some sort of obligation to do this. And I get every once in a while, maybe if it happens, fine. I'm not that mad at Rory, but I think you got to stay and face the music as a professional golfer or a professional athlete. You get paid so much money that's just what comes with the territory with playing for, you know, millions and millions of dollars a week. You gotta stand up there and take it when it goes bad.
Yeah,
Can I do a little Rory overreaction? Is it possible he takes the rest of the year off? Now that's why I said overreaction. No. If you watch how he left that room, that is a man who has officially hit rock bottom, regardless of the outside.
He said today he'll see everyone at the Scottish Open, so we'll crush that.
Hey, already pulled out of one. Already could say what is the saying? Something along the line. Words me. I don't know what saying I was going to go for, but just watch for it. I said overreaction, Rise. Maybe he's done. I honestly think he needs a break. He can't catch a break to save his life.
He's taking a break for 3 weeks.
Literally,
he's not done for the year.
He should take the whole year off. The way he looked, the way he fucking just absolutely dookied down his own leg to lose that championship. I mean, it's been the same story for 14 years, 3,260 something days. Like, it's unbelievable. His inability
10 years.
to close.
10 years. Let's not.
Jesus, my bad.
Yeah. This is overreaction, and Raz just makes up whatever he wants.
Decade police.
We'll let you go on it.
Dude, it's like your statute of limitation winning a March Madness pool. Like, is Rory even a great? Like, I have no idea. He was great at 22. Hasn't been.
He just finished second at the U.S. Relevant. I mean, that's just.
Cam Young finished second twice last year in majors, and over here we got
John Deere.
No, at majors, and fucking Rube over here is like, this guy's done. I'm just saying, Rory's a perpetual loser. He wins not important tournaments.
Dude, I can't believe it. You got to stop. If you're putting Cam Young in this conversation, Rory,
we got to
move on to the next segment here.
I'm putting anybody in. Will Zalatoris came in second here 3 times. I mean, I know Willie Z finally got over the hump, but like, is he better? I think Willie Z's better over the last 3 years. All
right, next segment. This is wow. I'm getting dumber listening to you right now.
When did you become the Rory defense part, Rube? Like,
I'm not. You're acting like an idiot. I mean,
how?
Because you just said Will Zalatoris and Cam Young are better than Rory McIlroy.
Right now, over the last 2 years, yeah.
Dude, Will Zalatoris shot like 10 over this week.
Had a bet. You know what? Both finished not champions.
I can't argue with you on this
because I was right.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on here. Looking at the NBA Finals, let's get a quick score update. 28-18.
Fucking Christ.
Tatum for 3. All right. Looks like 28-18, end of the first quarter. Raz, as you mentioned, 0-8 so far, but I think he had a little play for tonight. A little teaser action in the NBA. That's when you know things aren't going well, and you're
things
teasing totals and sides.
No,
give us your numbers.
We got Celtics -3. We got the over 206. I don't know how much lower they have to go on this over-under for them to get a fucking over, but there has to be a breaking point. There has to. Or else I'm going to bet game 1 of next year.
If there's not, you wait until October.
I know, and I will continue. I will absolutely
those WNBA
Boston over.
They got a WNBA team in Boston. Just get back on the train.
Just start hammering. One has to hit. I even teased it down. 4 points. Get to 206. How hard is it?
Yeah, we'll see. So if the series is still going on and we do our next show, I think that would mean we are at a game 7. I didn't look at the exact schedule, but
I don't know.
It could be over.
I don't think we get one
by the time that you're listening to this. But game 4,
Sunday game 7.
Sunday.
Yeah. Hey, we're headed fully into football a week from now. This is the last week of anything relevant going on because Major League Baseball isn't relevant. We go right into football. That's how crazy it is. This is the last week of sports to talk about.
Yeah, and I guess, with the game, this possibly even the last game tonight, do the Mavs stand any chance here? We'll start with you.
Nah, I don't think so. I think they had their fun in game 4. I think the Celtics at home, they kind of played with their food a little bit in game 4, but when you're up 3-0, you got a chance to do that. As a Celtics sweep better, didn't make me very happy that they played terribly in game 4, but at least we got
worst loss of the year
coming over. At least we got $50 coming over in a couple hours from our co-host here.
Well, now you know why I had to do the $100 units. I got to make up for. I offered to send you that after game 2, and you shut me down. There was no voodoo magic there. I had waved the white flag, and I was ready to pay you.
Yeah, well, I was going to give you your sweep discount, so I said to hold on to it, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, we better see over 206 here at some point because I might be on the run. We got this dog from Tijuana.
The dog's getting sold in the corner.
Dog's going back. Gotta love it. So yeah, I mean, all the pre-NBA Finals bets that we were talking about kind of coming to a head right now. But I did have one interesting bet, right? I know that everybody's going to listen to this after it's over, but just a little devil's advocate here. Door 1 or door 2? Highest scoring game of the finals as we sit here right now. Kyrie before the game was -105. Remember, he put up 36 points in game 3. That is door 1. Or door 2, if Luka, Tatum, Brown, or maybe even Derek White can muster up 37 points, they're going to take home that bet. Luka plus 175, Tatum plus 650, Brown plus 1,200, Derek White 250 to 1. Door 1 or door 2, boys? Are we sticking with Kyrie here for the highest scoring game of the finals, or is one of those other guys taken?
I'll say tough after watching that first quarter. I feel like this would have been a 50-burger game for Luka. I'll take door 2 because there's still 3 quarters left, and I think Luka is just going to go out in a blaze of glory. Luka did finish with 35 in one of these games, so kind of off by 1 point. I'm going to go door 2. I think Luka has it in him. I don't think Tatum. What this Boston team showed this series is they didn't need Tatum to be the world scorer that he is, that he can be a passer, rebounder, and all that other stuff. I think people,
sounds like an echo from about 4 weeks ago on this podcast.
I've loved Tatum since they drafted him from Duke. I'm going to be so happy that he gets a ring. I'm not happy that I'm paying you. I like it. That's the part I'm pissed off about. Am I mad at the Celtics team for winning? No, this isn't like the Bears winning a Super Bowl. I'm not. There's no haste, right? I'm just annoyed at the way it all went down. I thought they could have had a better Eastern Conference run in terms of getting better matchups, but no fault to their own. And they're going to shove the Western Conference right down my throat the way everybody should have, as I've done from series to series. I've backed the absolute wrong team. Do I think Denver has a better chance if they're in this series? Absolutely. But it's a moot point. I'm happy for you, Rube. I'm happy for Jason Tatum. But I'm taking door 2 for Witz's sake. I think Luka's going to finish with 42 tonight.
Give me door 1. Just fade. Just fade whatever you say.
It's fine. I might as well get my bad ones out before the NFL. When NFL comes around, Rozzy 65% is coming through the door. He's ready to rock and roll.
Rozzy 65%. You gotta love it. and the dog agrees. Chicago says Razi is hitting about 48% the past 4 years. But we'll move on here. We're going to get a little bit into the NFL. I know Raz was eager to talk about it. Didn't have a lot of explosions in the text this week. So we got a little mild salsa here for Explain Your Text. It was actually an exchange between Rube and Raz. So we're going to dive right in the NFL.
What a shocker here between the two of us. We've been going at it for the last month. Fuck yourself. No, even though they're going to come
you guys are actually agreeing. So I'll let you guys do a double.
Hell yeah, Rube. All right. Fuck wits.
It was a little double explanation. Little tame this week. Rube, you texted us. I think it was like later, like Thursday or Friday. Trevor Lawrence got $275 million. LOL. Raz, stop it. Rube, 55 a year, 200 guaranteed. Raz, yikes. I wish Love would have gotten his deal before that. It looks like you guys have something to say about Trevor Lawrence. So explain your text, boys.
Can I make an apology that Wits called me out for? Again, the world doesn't know this, but I'm going to out myself. I'm full apology coming. I sent a tweet to our group about showing stats from Marcus Mariota's start with Tennessee and Trevor Lawrence's start with Jacksonville, posted by Bussin' with the Boys, Will Compton. So, Will, time to take yourself to the closet and figure your shit out. Posted bad stats. He posted incorrect stats, which led me to send incorrect stats, making Trevor Lawrence look worse than he actually is. Still not anything that impressive, but I want to apologize for sending incorrect information. But Trevor Lawrence is not worth the money they just spent. To be fair, though, in this day and age, it might be the only option they have. It's not like they're going to wait a year for Dak Prescott to become available, and who knows what any quarterback looks like in Jacksonville. At least Trevor Lawrence feels like a Jacksonville Jaguar at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. I get it. It's just the way the quarterback market works, but it's still a shocking figure to see Trevor Lawrence, who has been very, very average, I would say, the last few years, getting $50 million. But, we were talking about this, though, like, you don't see in the NFL, especially with quarterbacks, you don't really see guys move around very often. Like, when you got to get a guy that's good enough, maybe, you kind of just have to keep him and hope that he gets even better. It's not like guys really sign like big free agent deals with other teams. Like outside of some of these like end of career moves that like a Brady or a Manning or a Rodgers made, or even like Kirk Cousins this year, like you don't really see that many of those guys that move around. So like, when you get your guy that's like, halfway decent, you just got to roll with it.
Do you put Kirk Cousins and Rodgers like almost like, are they both towards the same latter part of their career? Think about how much longer Rodgers has been in the league than Kirk Cousins.
I mean, it's a similar type of thing. Like Kirk's, he just tore his Achilles and he's on I would say he's approaching 40 here sometime in the next few years. So
Kirk's also an example of a quarterback that did change situations. He was with the Commanders.
Yeah, it was different though. He wasn't really a star though with the Commanders. I think that was a situation where they didn't really think he was the guy. I'm talking like, high first round picks.
Yeah,
perennial guys who should be the guy. They don't really move around very often unless they really suck, which I don't think Lawrence is that category.
I don't know what else you do with Lawrence, to be fair. I guess the market was set, so he was like bound to make that anyways. It's so funny to me that the Cleveland Browns are stuck with they're just stuck with Deshaun Watson being the most highest guaranteed paid quarterback. And the results there have been nothing but maybe we should keep Flacco, which they didn't even do that. So the quarterback market's interesting. Patrick Mahomes already down to below the top 5 paid. Jordan Love is going to jump up and get that pay. Jordan Love in one season beat a top contender to win a playoff game and then should have beaten the 49ers if it wasn't for his dickhead defensive coordinator, which is, to me, already heads and heels better than Trevor Lawrence. Am I right? So it's I'm excited to see the contract we give Jordan Love, and excited for our third Hall of Fame quarterback to get his career going. It's a good time. I mean, this market's going to be nuts. I'm hearing $300 million for Dak Prescott next year, which will just be absolutely insane. Another non-proven winner, by the way. For all the flack I want to give Trevor Lawrence, Dak hasn't won any meaningful games either.
Who are you taking? You got one guy this season, Lawrence or Prescott?
Cool. Oof. That's so funny because my brain works in fantasy thought too. Fantasy thought Dak Prescott, right? The guy's chucking 40. He led the league in touchdowns last year. There's nothing that tells me he's not going to do that, barring where CeeDee Lamb may end up. I think I'd take Dak anyways. He has that bad injury, but it seems like Trevor Lawrence has like more ailments all the time. And Trevor just like his turnover issue, which I know was big with Prescott throwing interceptions, which he dropped down a lot last season. But fucking Trevor can fumble the ball with the best of them and then also throw the interceptions. I mean, what? He had that 5 interception game. I know he came back and beat the Chargers in that game, but he had what, 4 interceptions in the first 5 drives of that game. I mean, I'm going Dak. Short story.
Yeah, I'll take Dak too. I mean, I don't love either option, just with how they played in the playoffs and in big games, but I think he's a little bit more proven at this point.
What about you, Commander in Chief? You don't get to skate by Mr. Non-Transparent.
I'm not going to skate by, but I am going to say Trevor Lawrence has missed 1 game in 3 years. So I think the injury comment that you made is unwarranted, just like the touchdowns on the tweet.
Not missed game, but he hasn't been well in games, and you can tell.
I don't know. I mean, the guy's knee almost snapped off last year, and he came back the next week. I mean, I think that's a guy kind of similar to Stafford. Like, yeah, he's banged up, but they're all banged up. But he's missed 1 game in 3 years.
Go win a Super Bowl like Stafford, and I will eat my word. I will eat my socks. I will get a pair of socks when Trevor wins a Super Bowl, and I will eat them. I will eat them on camera with soy sauce.
Put in the notes.
I'm writing it down. I am writing it down. Because Matthew Stafford, has also been in the league for about probably 13 or 14 more years. So,
well, no shit. I get that part.
No, I mean, Trevor Lawrence came out of the worst team in the league. They've been about 500 the past couple of years. I think you guys got to cut him a little bit of slack. I really do. I would go with Lawrence over Prescott.
All right, here's my slack. $180 million fully guaranteed would have been a better contract for me. 250, 275, a little much. Little rich for that blood.
Yeah. Who's counting at this point?
Though.
All these hundreds of millions.
You know who's counting? The cap. Because now they can't pay for players. Again, you can do what you want with Mahomes, pay him, pay Josh Allen, and they're going to go out there and win the games themselves no matter what. Look at the receivers Mahomes had last year to win a Super Bowl. That's where that money is relevant. Trevor Lawrence not going to have anybody big in the pass catching department eventually. I mean, how they didn't bring back Calvin Ridley is beyond me. I don't think they brought back Christian Kirk either. What do you mean Ridley stinks?
Calvin Ridley was terrible last year. A couple of good games, but he barely stayed on the field, and he had some duds throughout the year.
I'm just saying, not a lot of weapons. Which get us into our early look at the NFL season. We're going to do some picks for the people. Again, 65 Roz over here is a good follow when it comes to the NFL. I've got some interesting takes, I think, for this coming season.
Yeah, let's get right into it. I think it'd be good if maybe we flash some of the odds on the screen here at a certain point. But first, let's dive into Super Bowl futures. And I want 2 picks from each of you guys. I want one team that you think is going to win, and then I want a long shot pick that might have a shot if they get hot at some point during the year. We'll start off with you, E.
There's the obvious that I did put my money in 19-1. I took Green Bay. I hate doing this for the second year in a row. I hate doing it 2 years in a row. A lot of health dependency, but 20-1 is a massive number. I took the Jets 20-1. Why not be, like I said, if Aaron Rodgers wins another Super Bowl, I'm getting a piece of it, and I'm going to bet them until he retires because I put way too much time in that man to not recoup some value. So I'm on the Jets. And if you want an even longer shot, Indianapolis Colts.
I said 2. Let's
not name
every team on the board.
Here's some for the rest of us.
Indianapolis Colts 60-1. Anthony Richardson might be the best offensive player this year if he's healthy. So.
Trying to find this one. Oh, here we go. Super Bowl futures. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as my top pick. I just think there's too much talent there. I'm just going to bank on it coming together eventually. I know they've flamed out quite a few times here, but just going to keep going back to the well. Maybe it'll happen this year. We'll see. Someone a little further down the board. That is a tough one. I'll go with the Browns. I think their defense is as good as anyone, and if somehow, some way Deshaun Watson figures it out, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if it does, their defense is poised to, was up there with anyone to make a run. And Deshaun doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes. He just needs to not be terrible. I think if he can be a top third quarterback, I think the Browns are dangerous. So I think they're around 40-1. I'd take a shot on them.
I had the same thought, Rube. Looking a little bit further down the board, I mean, just like you said, if Deshaun Watson plays, average, it's a very good defense, right? And we've seen flashes from him. At one point, he was a no doubt top 5 quarterback in the league. Hasn't looked like that, ever since he came to Cleveland. There's been a lot going on, but maybe this is the year that he can finally figure it out a little bit. The one thing I do worry about is it's a tough division, right? You've got Baltimore, you've got Cincinnati, who I think there's no reason why they shouldn't be good this year if Joe Burrow is back at full health. But a team a little bit closer to the top, I'm looking at the Eagles, right? They were within spitting distance of winning the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. I think bringing in Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, I think we're going to see a revitalized Eagles team that I think was just kind of a little bit worn out last year. So they're my pick near the top. And let's see here. Should we do a little AFC, NFC, and then do some divisions next week? What do you think, E?
We'll do divisions. Yeah, we'll do divisions next week. We'll do AFC, NFC winner, and then our MVP picks. But on the AFC front, you brought him up. I'm going to take the full risk, right? Like, I don't think they trot Joe Burrow out there if his career is over, which sounds like it was that side of the – it's either career over or he's coming back and it'll be just fine. 7-1, I like the Bengals. There's not a world in which I take the Chiefs. Obviously, that seems to be the easy pick. But when Joe Burrow is humming, they're the best team outside of Kansas City in that conference. I also, because I like to give 2 or 3, plus 850. Houston Texans a little bit deeper down.
You're gonna take top 4 and leave Witz with me and Witz with a couple others.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what you guys do. I'm telling you who I'm putting money on. And so Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. And then I am riding the Witch train on the NFC side. Obviously, I'm taking my Packers, but that's a moot point. So I'm going to take 7-1 Philadelphia Eagles to be the NFC champions.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the Eagles too. They've been one of my teams that I've been looking at for a while here. I've got a Jalen Hurts MVP bet in already, so I'm going to ride that one. And then, as I just talked about, I'll take the Ravens out of the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would go with the Eagles as well right now, and then AFC. I think I'm going to go with the Bills at plus 800, plus 750, depending on where you look. Seems like the Bills are coming into this year with really nobody talking about them, right? It's all about Aaron Rodgers coming back to full health. You still got the Chiefs, the Ravens, Joe Burrow coming back, but I think the Bills are going to surprise a lot of people this year. And I think I'm more worried about the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side with the lack of receivers that we talked about last week. But I think Josh Allen is going to win the big one at some point. So I'm going to take him. Bills for the AFC Championship. And we talked a little bit about MVP last week, right? Throughout. Do you have the chutzpah with Kyler Murray 60-1? But taking a look across the board here, who do you guys think? Who are you taking for early season MVP pick right now?
Well, my guy, I already said, but my guy is Jalen Hurts. I just think that we're getting a discount on him, and I don't really know why. Last year at this time, Jalen Hurts was probably the second or third favorite to win MVP. He's down there as like 16-1, like Brock Purdy's ahead of him, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I think we're just getting a discount at a guy that has a lot of talent. I think he's a little bit streaky in the passing game at times, but if the Eagles get back to their winning ways and somehow, getting that 1 seed again, I think it's going to be because of Jalen Hurts. So I think it's something that very well could happen. So he's my guy that I'm riding with.
I'm with you, Rube, which sounds weird since I fucking hate everything you pick all the time, especially these Celtics behind me right now. But I am going to ride Jalen Hurts with these 16-1. We might as well cash in on Witz. Witz always telling us Jalen Hurts is the man. Who's going to be better than Jalen Hurts? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do that. Jalen Hurts 16-1. And like I said, with the Jets pick, I'm fucking dying on this sword. Also 16-1. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. Comeback season, GOAT season. People talk shit about him. Some talk all about his ayahuasca. Talk all about what he does, reading books or whatever he doesn't, or his astrological beliefs and stuff. I don't give a shit. 16-1. I'll ride it because if he is winning it, I need a piece. Too much time I've spent on that man. Hurts, Rodgers, 16-1 a piece. That's where my money's at.
Yeah, I like it. I don't really have a big lean here. I do like Joe Burrow. I think he's going to have a good year, but I kind of like live betting the MVP market throughout the year. And if I was going to take a flyer right now, I would look at Kirk Cousins. Actually, I think the Falcons' schedule gets a little soft back half of the year. I think he could have a big statistical year. I mean, there's a lot of weapons over there, and if the Falcons win that division, win 10 or 11 games, he's definitely going to have a storyline for it. So I think I would throw Kirk in there. But yeah, we're going to be full football next week. Divisions, some other markets. Got to bet like a total touchdown scorer. Zeke Elliott didn't come through last year. I thought he'd stumble in.
Dude, that New England way.
Times. But he's back in Dallas, so maybe we can get back to the 1 yard line a little bit more often than the Patriots did. But that's all I had for you guys today. So any closing thoughts?
Rube, any closing thoughts from you?
No.
You want to congrats?
No, I don't need it.
You waited a whole month. The Boston Celtics ran all the way through this merry land to win it all.
I got a lot of hate. Got a lot of hate along the way about, the Celtics playing a bad schedule. They don't deserve it, this, that, and the other thing. Now, this could come back to haunt me. They could lose this game, but I mean, I was right all along. I knew it. That's all I really have to say.
I don't think this is coming back to haunt you. Yeah, congrats. You get your claps. You picked your guy. I don't know what you got them at. I'm assuming you took him before the postseason started.
I got him at even odds against the Mavericks. It's the best bet of all time.
Oh, fuck.
I got the best numbers in the world.
Yeah, well, that's the Book of Roz. Instead of reading your Book of Mormons, just come to the Book of Roz. You get benefits there.
You rile them up enough, you get a team that's minus 210.
Yeah, that book is fully emotional. Nothing no figures taken into account. It is an emotional book, and you'll get some of the best odds in the world. And
how about a refer a friend bonus, huh?
Yeah, boy, Wits. We got plenty of bets coming up this NFL season. We get the notepad going for the three of us. As we already have one in the book, I think, Rube, between you and I. I don't know what that is yet, but I will check my notes. Not much. We are going to go full NFL. We are coming to you next June 24th. So that puts us a week earlier than I usually like to start talking NFL. But honestly, I'm not bringing you any Olympics coverage, and I'm not talking baseball. I might give Wits a home run pick here and there, but baseball fucking stinks. It's the only cool thing is Paul Skeens, and he pitches once every 5 days. Other than that, I don't really care. Shohei's already MVP in my book. The Dodgers are going to Dodger. The Yankees are fighting for 28, which is the same story every year. I'm done. Football next week. We come to you live. That's it for me, Wits.
That's it. We'll see you next week.
Ciao for now. Peace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.